The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by the Elite Experience, Elite Shotguns, and is fueled by Fiocchi.
Paul?
Welcome to the Dead Pair Podcast, coming in hot with everything you want to hear about sporting clays.
Guy Fieri.
How are you, gentlemen? Thanks for having me.
Anthony Matarese Jr., how you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty well.
Welcome back, David Radulovich.
That's a net positive. Brad Kidd.
Corey Cruz. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Now I feel awkward.
With your hosts, Jason
One
Rambo
more Red Bull for you.
and Sean Alley.
Woo, yeah!
Christmas.
Let's do it.
Often imitated but never duplicated. It's the Dead Pair Podcast. And now, it's showtime.
Mr. Alley, we have ourselves a jam-packed show scheduled tonight.
Finally. This has been in the works for a while.
Yes. I am so excited about this huge announcement we have, but we're going to keep people on the edge of their seats because we've got a lot to get to between now and then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, hey, first of all, welcome back to the frozen North Tundra.
Yeah, it's not as bad as it usually is this time of year. I'll give it a little bit of a break.
No. There's no palm trees. There's no sand. There's no ocean. I'm done. I want to go back south.
Okay. All right. I'm not going to argue that point, and my wife would probably agree with you too.
Right?
So.
Yeah, I know she would because I saw her just smiling the whole time she was by that pool.
It was a lot nicer there than it was here. That's for sure.
Yes. Hey, listen. Okay, let's get right to it. Okay, because we do have a lot to cover tonight. Let me start with this: the Ohio State Championship, August 3rd through the 6th. We've talked about it, but now the payouts have officially been announced. So, are you ready for this, Sean Alley?
Run it, Matty. Run it.
Okay, so HOA $4,000, runner-up $2,500. Now, this is the cool part right here. Payouts per class. This is Masters through E-class. First place $1,000, second place $800, third place $500, fourth place $350, fifth place $250, and concurrents are $350 for first, $250 for second, $150 for third, and the total purse is $32,250.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
That's pretty awesome.
So, also, in regards to the Ohio State shoot, the Dead Pair Podcast will be set up at the Pavilion Friday and Saturday night with many of the guests that we've had on our show in attendance. So, stop by, pull up a chair, crack a cold beer if you're old enough to do so.
Right.
And come talk to us. Come hang out.
Heck yeah. Meet some of the people that have been on our show, and I think it'll be an awesome time for everybody.
Well, and we've got a little something here later on in the show that's going to talk about that.
Yes.
Because there's going to be some giveaways too. So
absolutely. Plan
on coming and hanging out with the Dead Pair at the Ohio State shoot. Sean Alley, we have a massive Tourney Talk to get to.
Yes, let's get to it.
It's Tourney Talk. Brought to you by Scorechaser.
All right, everybody, hold on to this one. So here we go. 2024 Western Regional in Phoenix, hosted by Pinnacle Shooting Sports, has a save the date listed. I expect they'll open registration within the month. That is March 6th through the 10th in 2024. 2023 Colorado State at Longmeadow, September 20th to the 24th. That's after they host the Western Regional. Also, Minnesota, let's see. Yes, Minnesota State at Wild Marsh is August 24th through the 27th. Last but not least, we're doing this as a fun shoot. Gallatin Sporting Clays in Montana for the DC Project, which will be August 26th. This will be the first Sporting Clays fundraiser for the group. DC Project is a woman-led organization that fights for our 2A rights in each and every state in our country. Pretty amazing group of women, mostly led by pistol and 3-gun shooters. So we're kind of trying to bridge the gap between that and the Sporting Clays world. If you need more information on that, visit the dcproject.info.
Yeah, hats off to Casey Chase for doing that. That's awesome.
Yep, a lot of stuff out there. So hopefully some of that applies to you guys. Get out there, get registered. Like we always say, sooner the better.
Yeah, for sure. I can't take it.
Do it.
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
I know you're a ball of nerves right now.
I'm so excited about this. All right, everybody, we got a very special announcement coming up right here. All right, right, everyone. I've been chomping at the bit, counting the minutes, counting the seconds till we can introduce these two. We have on the phone with us from Elite Shotguns and Vero Beach Clay Shooting, Aaron Willoughby and Brian Palmer. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Guys.
How you doing?
Awesome to have you guys on the phone. There's some really big news we're going to announce to our listeners. Jason, go ahead, man.
Well, first and foremost, Sean and I are beyond honored and humbled for this announcement. But which one of you two wants to drop the bomb here to our listeners?
Brian, I'll let you take the reign here. Go for it, buddy.
All righty. Well, I am absolutely glad to announce a partnership with the Dead Pair podcast as well with Elite Shotguns and Vero Beach Clay Shooting Sports.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
aboard, guys.
Well, thanks for having the confidence with joining our podcast. We think it's going to be an awesome partnership, and both Jason and I are just ecstatic over this whole deal.
Absolutely.
So
I definitely got to give Brian a pat on the back here. You know, he reached out to me and he, presented this opportunity to myself, and he was like, this may be a great idea. The Dead Pair, they're very well known in the sporting clay community, and they're a big promoter to the shooting sports like we are. And he and I put our heads together and we discussed it with our management team, and we were like, hey, let's do this. Let's go for it and pull these two companies together in this partnership and make it happen. So, but thank you, Brian, for putting this together. So,
gotcha.
No, absolutely. It's we're excited to do it.
Well, I tell you what, Jason and I mean, we're really stoked. We've got lots of great things planned already with both of you guys. I mean, both with Elite Shotguns and Vero Beach Clay Shooting. But real quick, Aaron, you not only work for Elite, but you're the general manager and also the Kolar Pro Team manager. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yep, I'm the general manager of Elite Shotguns, and I am the captain of the Team Kolar shooting team. So it's we got a lot of things on our plate, but we make it happen daily. So it's a huge opportunity to do both.
Well, for those that don't know, Aaron's a super cool guy, but he's got one problem: is his gun only has one barrel.
Well, actually, I've got two. I got to shoot doubles too. But
okay. Gotcha.
Well, we had Ricky on a couple weeks ago, so we might as well have another trap shooter on.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, well, we're losing fans by the minute. I'm just kidding.
No doubt. We're starting our season off. Actually, I'm heading to Florida on Sunday. We're heading to Silver Dollar Shooters Club in Odessa, Florida. We have 3 big trap events down there. So,
really?
Really kick off my season and get things going. So
that's awesome.
But, I've been playing with sporting. I've got a sporting gun, and I'm shooting a little more than I ever have in sporting clay. So it's a new challenge.
Well,
I like it.
I saw you at Nationals last year. So it looks like you're venturing into the dark side. I love it. So.
It's really impressive when you look at his scores to realize that he's breaking that with one barrel. So he loads really fast. It's incredible.
His reload speeds are just out of the sight, right?
True pairs.
Incredible.
True pairs have got to be a problem for you, and I'm guessing,
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
Well, Brian, let's circle back to you, man. I know you're a busy guy. You got your hand in about everything, but your primary function is the general manager at Vero. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're one of the elite locations as far as gun sales, and then obviously the operational, range and shooting situation. So we do a lot of different stuff. And then there's so much going on with both companies that Aaron and I do both keep a really busy schedule. We're really excited for the two of us. We work along with Murray and Cassie Gerber to make up our management team. So we kind of all have our hands in a little bit of everything, but primarily Vero Beach is my focus.
Yeah, and again, we were just down there. We actually visited Vero Beach for the first time. Thank you for allowing me and Jason to stop by and take a look at your club. That's a beautiful club, and you guys are definitely doing some great work down there. We really loved how everything was laid out, and can't wait to get down there again.
I'm excited that we get to be some small part of that.
Exactly.
I mean, that's really cool. Trust me, my wife picked out the spot. She wants to build a house right there on the course. So, so she's loving this partnership. But all right, I'm gonna ask a tough one. I know we're having fun here, but this is kind of a big one. And Brian, I want to start with you. Tell our listeners what this partnership means for them. How will they benefit from this partnership?
Well, I think you guys do such a great job of spreading the word. I mean, we're a full line gun dealer and shooting facility. So people that may not be directly geographically close to us or know about us will know a lot more. Plus, you guys will be shooting some cool products and definitely being able to give your opinion on some products that you're understanding. And really, it's most beneficial for a trusted source for the listeners to be able to spread the word about what we do, and we're really excited for that.
Well, Aaron, what's your take on that? How do you think the listeners will benefit from this partnership?
So Elite's comprised of a very unique sales team and a group of employees, for that matter. We have a world champion skeet shooter who runs our Texas store. Myself, I'm an All-American men's team member in trap. You got Brian Palmer and Vero. So we have all of our locations have knowledgeable people who are competitive, who obviously have been successful at some level or another. So, as far as the listeners are concerned, we're a full service gun shop, as Brian mentioned. We have shotguns, we have shooting accessories, we have glasses. So we are really a one-stop shop for anything shooting related. So I think that, combined with our experience as shooters and, combined with what we offer, I mean, I think that's the perfect ticket to being successful shooting. So that's really the most important thing that I think we bring to the table, with this partnership. And you guys do an excellent job of, promoting, through the podcast. And I think it's going to be a good relationship between us.
Well, I think the biggest news here is that Mr. Alley is going to be shooting a Kolar Max Light. Now, how cool is that? Right?
Oh yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah,
very cool.
I'm very much looking forward to that. I've been pretty faithful to my gun for a while, but I shot a demo when I was down there at the Jack Links tournament, and I was very surprised how the gun handled. It worked very nicely. So I'm looking forward to getting into that thing and trying to get it figured out, and hopefully be breaking birds and crushing clays here for the rest of the year.
You know what irritates me about that, Brian, is I've been telling him for years how superior the Kolar is, and it took you to let him go demo one to convince him. I'm like, really? I mean, we've been friends for 30 years. You've known Brian for 30 minutes, and you're already trusting his opinion on the Kolar. What the heck?
It's because I've known you this long as I have.
We call that the elite experience.
That's it. That's the whole thing. I had to have it in my hands, and I had to deal with Brian, and Brian showed me the way. So here we are.
Man, I tell you what, Malcolm Parker is going to be so proud of you, Sean Alley.
I know. I've talked to Malcolm and Melanie both, and I know they are diehard Kolar people, and we've had several conversations about guns and stuff, but he'll be surprised once he hears this, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, for sure. Well, like I said, guys, we have a ton of stuff we're going to be doing moving forward. Brian, you and I have talked a little bit about some ideas, some really cool stuff for the listeners, and I'm excited to dive into this, but for tonight, I think this announcement was huge. I don't want to stun everybody too much, but you guys want to any final parting thoughts?
We just really want to thank you guys for the opportunity. I mean, you're a great link to the listeners and shooters, and we hope that we can provide some information and stuff like that that'll be helpful for people. But I think ultimately, your mission to inform and help the shooters, and maybe a little entertainment in there as well. But it's really a good thing for us, and we're glad to be partnered with you guys for sure.
Well, I couldn't have said it better myself. That's for sure.
That's awesome. And so, just so everybody understands that's listening. Let's just start right away with this. Kolar is a lifetime gun, but if you can't afford a Kolar, you guys carry a vast variety of guns. You can help somebody regardless of budget, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what Elite's all about. We don't just sell you a shotgun. We sell you a shotgun that fits, that you can shoot. So we make sure that it fits you. That's the number one priority when we sell a shotgun. As you guys know, shotgun fit is key.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. Well, and Aaron, if you would, remind our listeners, can you quickly run down all the locations that you have currently right now in the United States?
Sure, absolutely. So we have a Kentucky location, which is actually at my house. We have a demo facility here. We have a trap range. We will be adding some sporting clay machines. So you want to shoot a sporting clay gun, you can come to Kentucky. We'll have a little 5-stand set up with some machines. We have a Pennsylvania location who also has a gun range close. It's a small drive to the shop. We have a Texas location at the National Shooting Complex, and that's Cameron Schuster runs that store. He's there 5 days a week. He is available for, lessons or, fitting, instruction, anything like that you may need there. And then, of course, we got Brian in Florida. So we have 4 locations that's open throughout the week. And then we also have 2 other locations, one in Illinois at the World Shooting Complex. And then we have the Cardinal Center in Ohio. So those are events only locations, Ohio and Illinois, but the other 4 are open full time.
Yeah, well, you definitely got a good spread across the country. So if any of our listeners are hearing this and you're in the local area, might want to stop by and check them out.
Well, guys,
and if none of those locations are convenient to you, we also have 2 of the most understanding wives on the face of the planet. Because most of the summer, Aaron's off at trap shoots and some sporting events, and I go to a lot of sporting clay events. So we make sure that we can, if you can't get to us, we try to do a good job of getting to you. And then that's a lot of the reason for this is, we can't be everywhere physically, but, this is raising awareness to what we're doing. And, we definitely have our website and everything like that. So we hope we can find a way to get to everybody.
Well, yeah.
Currently, we have 2 mobile showrooms. Okay. So we have 2. I have one in Kentucky. We have a mobile showroom that rotates from the Pennsylvania area in the Northeast to Florida during the winter. But as I mentioned, I'm heading to the Silver Dollar in Florida. I'll be in Florida for the last 3 weeks of March for trap events. But we will also have some sporting clay guns there with us. So we'll have the new Max Lock Sporting and have demos available and things like that. So we try to have somebody at all the major tournaments for sure if possible. And then hey, if we're not there, we have the website which has nearly every gun we have in inventory listed on there.
Yep.
Well, that's what I was just going to add is obviously you guys will always have your spot right on our show description. The web address for both Vero and Elite Shotguns will be right down in the show description at all times. And of course, you guys will be tagged on everything. So should be easy for our listeners to find you. Of course, they can drop us a line or just go to it's eliteshotguns.com or verobeachclayshooting.com. So either way, we'll get them directed to you one way or another.
Sounds great.
Well, gentlemen, I tell you what, I think this is a great partnership. Me and Jason kind of knew right away when we met Brian at Vero Beach that, we all kind of spoke the same lingo and had the same ideas in our heads about what was going to happen. And I think this is just a beautiful relationship and it's only going to get better. So we're really looking forward to working with you guys.
Same here.
Appreciate it. We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Well, guys, we're going to let you run. We've still got another guest coming on, but man, I'm sitting here, I'm wiggling in my seat.
Yeah, we're geeking. We're geeking. So this is awesome. This is really awesome. We're looking forward to it. So,
but thanks, guys. We'll see you both soon and talk to you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Great.
All right. Take care.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Bye.
Okay, Sean Alley, do you know what this means?
Well, I haven't fully wrapped my head around the whole thing, but I know that it's daggone cool.
So you have to use Q-Max to lubricate your gun, not Prego.
Here we go. Yeah, the spaghetti stirrer is going to be put up into the gun safe for a little bit once I get that new Kolar. Oh, here it is. Hey, and speaking of that, I just want to throw a quick shout out to Brian Buzzy from Beretta. Just real quickly, I had some gun problems with my DT11, had some trigger issues, and my gun was double firing through a couple events. And Brian was nice enough to loan me a trigger set while he gets mine worked on. And a big hats off to Brian Buzzy and Beretta for pulling me through that. Now, moving forward, we're going to put the Beretta in the safe, and next up is the Kolar. I can't wait to get to shoot that baby.
Sean Alley, and
I'm just excited as all get out.
Is going to be shooting a Kolar Max Light Sporting.
That's right.
Well, this is more groundbreaking than anything.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't even know what to compare it to.
We'll be Batman and Robin out there, buddy.
Yeah, well,
I'm Batman.
You're more like the Joker, or the Penguin.
Oh God, I'm not short. I might be ugly, but I'm not short, buddy. So be careful. Be careful.
All right. Well, listen. not to top what that last announcement just was, but we have probably the second biggest thing to ever hit the dead pair is Fiocchi USA.
Yep.
And we've got two special guests coming on from Fiocchi USA. So let's get them on the phone right now.
All right, we have had a lot of interest since we first announced at the start of the year that we were going to be partnering with Fiocchi. And at long last, we've got some very busy people that finally found time to get on the show with us. Miss Holly Hammond and Christian Hogg. Guys, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Good deal. Christian,
appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for coming on. I'll start with Holly first. Holly, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your full title with Fiocchi, and just give us a little bit of rundown about what you do?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So I'm Holly Hammond. I am the marketing manager for Fiocchi of America and BNP USA. So I handle just general marketing with the shows, events, our shooting team, our range commitments, partnerships, and just the general health of the marketing. And I work underneath our marketing director, Christian Hogg.
Excellent.
Well, Christian, tell us a little bit about you.
This is Christian Hogg. I'm the director of marketing for Fiocchi USA and BNP USA as well. Primarily, whatever Holly's not taken care of, that's usually where my role steps in there. A lot of times it's dealing with media, advertising, and creative development and whatnot. Just kind of a general catch-all. And then I also, even though it's not necessarily officially on my title, I'm responsible for new product development as well at Fiocchi USA.
Awesome. Well, one of the things that I think people are a little shocked by, Christian, is it's not well known, but 100% of the Fiocchi products are made right here in the United States. Is that correct?
Well, we're getting pretty close. I would say that most of the products that the consumers are used to purchasing with Fiocchi are, made in our Ozark, Missouri facility or in our brand new Little Rock, Arkansas facility. We still have a handful of products that are made by the mothership back in Lecco, Italy, primarily kind of weird oddball, I would call them British pistol calibers, 455 Webley, 65 Swede. Things that are not necessarily what consumers are looking for on a day-to-day basis, but for the most part, the majority of our products are made right here in the U.S.
But okay, so specifically talking about the shotgun shells, that is 100% made in the United States, correct? All the components.
All the components, it depends. Again, our shot shell is extruded and primed in Italy.
Okay.
And shipped to us to our Ozark, Missouri facility. So primarily we're doing majority of the loading in the United States for shot shell. Our powder is made by a local manufacturer here in the United States based on our proprietary formulas, which we use on our shot shell. And then our shot, we don't have a shot tower, but we do source our shot from, again, foreign and domestic producers in the U.S., depending on what our needs are.
Okay.
And Christian, let me jump in there. So with the addition of the new plant down in Arkansas, I mean, that has to be a huge asset for your production, especially with the primers. Am I correct in saying that?
It certainly helped create some more space. Primarily, the Ozark, Missouri facility was founded back in 1983. It had grown and was loading both the shot shell, centerfire rifle, and centerfire pistol ammunition. At the end of 2020, we moved all of our centerfire pistol ammunition down to the new Little Rock facility, just south of town. And then that gave us more space at the Ozark facility to expand shot shell and centerfire rifle production. Now, going into the future, we have additional space down in our Little Rock facility. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point we move all centerfire rifle down there as well. So all pistol and rifle will be out of Little Rock, and then primarily Ozark would be shot shell production only.
Well, I know everybody that's listening to this right now, they're on the edge of their seat wanting to know the answer to this question. So I'll just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. Tell us what Fiocchi is doing to combat the shell availability. I mean, it's a problem all over the country. Can you guys tell us what's going on with that? And I know you guys are trying to address this as much as possible to keep the market share, but what is Fiocchi doing? Have you guys like stepped up production, or are you running longer times on the line? Talk to us.
Yeah, it's a tricky subject, and this is a question that gets asked of us. Almost every single day, multiple times a day when we're doing shows and events, when we're out and about. It's a unprecedented demand that we've never seen before. Is kind of the biggest component of it. Again, we were not running at full capacity prior to the run on ammunition over the last 3 years. And now we're running, 3 shifts a day, trying to get as many components in as possible to load shot shell, whether it be for target or for hunting. The complications associated with logistics, again, like I mentioned earlier, our shot shell is extruded and primed in Italy and then shipped to us. What used to be a 30-day door-to-door from our Lecco facility to Ozark, Missouri, was turning into 90 days, 120 days plus, simply because we had containers on the water that were either not getting through port in a timely manner, or they were getting through port fine, and then they go from rail to Kansas City, and then we have to truck drive them down to the Little Rock or the Ozark facility, and we couldn't get drivers. And that was kind of the story between 2020, 2021, and the early part of 2022. Now I'm starting to see things lighten up a little bit in terms of the flow of components coming into the factory, which should help us out in terms of producing more product. But at the same time, we're at max capacity as we are right now in terms of our existing footprint. Our ownership is interested, and that's most of where our capital expenditures are happening is here in the U.S. Like I said, the plant expansions down in Little Rock. We're breaking ground on a new primer facility down in the Port of Little Rock, and there are potential plans for expanding the Ozark facility going into 2024, 2025, which would help out SHOT Show. In the short term, if I'm being perfectly honest with you, and I know that your listeners are not going to like this thing, response is that I don't see it getting any better.
Really?
In terms of until we start extruding and heading our own shot shell, which is in the plans here stateside, I don't see volume coming, and that heavy extrusion is not going to occur until the primer facility that we're building down in Little Rock comes online, which isn't slated to happen until the end of 2024.
Okay.
And then I also equate it again, with this demand, I think consumer purchase behavior has changed.
Yeah.
Which complicates things for us. Is that, again, somebody going out to shoot around a trap with his friends, or her friends, normally would have gone in and, hey, I'll buy a couple boxes, I'll go out, I'll shoot for the day, whatever, and what have you. But now, because shell availability is hard to come by for the most part, that people are not just going in buying 2 boxes of shells anymore, they're going in and buying 2 flats,
right? Not
knowing the next time they go in. So when you have increased buying from those that are looking to participate in sports, and there's a ton of participation in the sport, it's just a matter of can we keep up with this pace,
right?
So and that's the thing we struggle with every day is how do we do that? And then not to get into the weeds too much, but maybe your listeners might like hearing as well, is that for the last 2 years we have been building and shipping anything we possibly can as fast as we can, regardless of seasonality.
Okay.
So one of our main initiatives for 2023 was go back to a seasonal build, meaning that from the beginning of the year till about the end of May, it's if we're loading anything that's shot shell, it will be target or clay sport related.
Okay.
We won't actually start doing any hunting shot shell loading until June, so that it will then fall into the right time of year. So we start shipping that product into kind of that late July or August and
right.
September time frame. So we'll flow some raw retail.
Well, that kind of poses another question for me, Christian, is when you're doing that, are there certain runs of loads that you concentrate on, first? For example, say like the shooting dynamics, right? That's, that's a lower level load that's like more commonly used for practice. So I would think you would sell more of those than little rhinos. So is that something you do? Is you like, okay, listen, we're going to really ramp up production, or not ramp up, but you're going to really concentrating on running the shooting dynamic production longer, and then we'll switch to little rhinos? Or is it no, you just, whatever components are available, that's what you're loading?
Well, we've got multiple loading machines, so again, we're not relegated to running all of them running the same product. So we can run, like little rhinos or crushers and shooting dynamics all at the same time.
Okay.
It really depends on the availability of raw materials, because again, we're shooting dynamics is just using for example, like a chilled lead shot. There's nothing to it, versus the higher antimony lead shot that we're using for little rhino or crusher or some of the other Exacta line. Again, might be a little bit different. The powder mixes are different. The wads that we use them are different within the line. So, our sourcing team, tries to work as best they possibly can with production to, balance that out. But it also depends on order position, in terms of how much of a product's going to be made and how quickly it's going to ship in. If we've got, certain products that have been on the books, and at this point, it's a little bit kind of obtuse to even mention it, is that, again, there are so many orders on the books for shot shell that there's no way for us to satiate the current demand
right
here. Again, though we are just basically trying to produce as much as we possibly can, as quickly as we can, across all the product lines that we have availability on, and then it's just dependent on those raw materials and lining of staffs to run machines.
Gotcha.
Well, I mean, Christian, I know that everything's kind of gone wonky ever since COVID hit. Obviously, things were a lot easier and a lot simpler prior to that. I also think me and Jason probably have to have some of the blame on this whole problem, because obviously with what we're doing, we've probably steered a lot more shooters into the sport than there used to be. At least that's what we like to think. That's what we hope. But when you were talking about adding the new plant in Arkansas, with the addition of the primer plant, I know you said it's not going to go online until sometime in 2024. Are you guys projecting that once that goes online, that's going to help you get more shells produced? Or, I mean, what's your overall strategy for that location?
Right. I mean, just to give your listener, I mean, there's roughly, 1.3 to 1.4 billion primers that we're using on a yearly basis across our entire product line.
Wow.
Roughly. And this primer facility will, roughly just slightly more than triple that availability.
Wow.
We're hopeful that, and with that, again, there's also demand for, again, we're the only NATO approved lead-free primer manufacturer in the world. So we have a proprietary lead-free formula that we use primarily for small rifle and pistol ammunition. So the plant will be split between that producing that product and a regular, lead stiff-mate primer that we're all used to shooting. But again, our hopes are is that with that plant coming online, there are plans to not only ramp up our shot shell production in terms of extruding and heading here in the United States, along with getting, inventory from LECO, but also our ability to expand our centerfire rifle line as well. But the CapEx that we would spend on the machinery and getting those things set up need to move in conjunction with the primer facility coming online, because, we could stand up, shot extrusion, but then if we don't have any primers to use them, we're just building inventory that we can't actually load and whatnot. So we're really trying to time everything that works well with that primer facility coming online. And then I'm sure your listeners will be happy to hear this too. But when that primer facility comes online and is working at full capacity, you're probably going to start seeing packaged primers from us again.
Oh, nice.
So,
yeah.
Yeah. So for your reloaders out there, again, there's hope in the future. It's just a matter of a little bit of a waiting game, unfortunately.
Well, I'm going to switch gears here a minute because Holly's being too quiet over there, so I'm going to pick on her here for a minute. So, Holly, let's talk some Team Fiocchi here for just a minute. First of all, this is a very impressive team that you have put together of pro shooters for Fiocchi. Tell us about the team and what it means to have such an awesome group of shooters for Fiocchi USA.
That is a great question. We absolutely could not be more proud of our teams. We are unbelievably fortunate enough to have these legendary, amazing shooters choose Fiocchi. So everyone from Rick Marshall Jr., multi-time world champion trap shooter, to our multi-time national and world champion sporting clay shooters, to our latest and greatest, Miss Halen Hanks, winning nationals last year for us.
Yeah.
This is not only our team just exceptional competitors and multi-time world champions in their disciplines, but they are just phenomenal coaches, leaders, and ambassadors to the sport.
Well, I'm just trying to figure out, you must have fell down a set of steps or something to sign Chad Roberts, but, but I'm just picking on you, Chad. I love you, buddy. But no, anyway, it is impressive. It really is. I mean, the shooters that are on the team is just, it's got to be overwhelming to you, really, if you step back and look at it.
It definitely is. They are just such an exceptional group of individuals that I get to work with every day and call my team members. I'm definitely in awe sometimes of their talents.
Well, hey, Holly, I got a question for you. So since BMP is owned by Fiocchi, with your pro teams, and this is just a curiosity thing more than anything, do you guys select certain people to shoot the certain brands, or is it kept divided as two separate companies, or how do you guys kind of divvy out who shoots Fiocchi and who shoots BMP?
Yeah, that's a great question. We actually have two completely separate brands and two completely separate teams for each brand. So when we are looking at recruiting, or when I'm looking at individuals, I'm looking at who's going to fit that brand the best, what they're interested in shooting, and what makes the most sense for those team members. So we're one big happy family, but we are two separate stems of the family tree, we'll say.
Gotcha.
Well, I don't even know how to ask this question, but we've had so many emails about it. I'm just going to throw it out there. We've had emails inquiring about, I guess there was a buyout of Fiocchi from a Czechoslovakian company. Can you talk about that and what it means for the consumer here in the U.S.? I mean, are we going to see or is everything fine, or just kind of put some people's minds at rest, if you will?
Sure, I could feel that one. The Czechoslovak group, or CSG as we refer to it, did acquire a majority stake of the Fiocchi group, which includes Fiocchi of America, Fiocchi Mizioni in Italy, and BMP or Basquiat and Pellegrini, both Italy and USA. The Fiocchi family still owns a minority share in the company, along with the private equity firm that owned the majority of the share prior to this new acquisition. But all of that took place officially in December of 2022. For the most part, CSG is based out of Prague. They are a, diversified industrial group, and they are focused on basically 5, strategic big business segments. They have a heavy presence in aerospace, defense, automotive, railways, and then they have a alignment with a lot of other different kind of business projects that kind of roll in that space. They are primarily looking at the acquisition of the Fiocchi group. I'm sure because of their work in the defense space and their location in Central Europe, that adding small arms ammunition into their portfolio was their primary focus. And we're still in the process of kind of getting to understand our new owners, them understanding our business, and those meetings are going to be. We had several of them earlier this year at SHOT Show and here in February as well. So it's going to be a few months before we have a general idea of where things are going with the company. In terms of operations here in the U.S., it's status quo. I mean, we're still producing, we're still moving forward. How CSG interacts with more of our Fiocchi Mizioni, our Lecco, Italy facility, in terms of what they're needing out of that is still being worked out. But like I said, the investment being made here in the U.S. and for the consumer market, the planned expansions we will continue to see going forward, those are still in the works.
Okay.
Gotcha. All right. So let me ask this, and I don't care whoever wants to take this one. let's talk about the overall goals and outlook for Fiocchi USA for 2023. What are you guys planning and what's in the works to get us through the rest of this year?
Okay, well, from the sporting community, we are excited to have expanded into the podcast world with you guys. We are on the championship tour. We are making great expansions to try to help grow the sport and support the shooters as we go.
Gotcha. And also, Holly, now that Fiocchi is supporting part of the NSCA Championship Tour for 2023, can you talk a little bit about that and how it came to be and what it means for participants of the tour?
Sure. We were unbelievably proud and excited to expand in 2022 our sponsorship levels with the NSCA and to help better support our shooters. And then in 2023, there was the opportunity for us to pick up the 12 gauge All-American team and the FITAS All-American team. And in addition to our devotion to the U.S. Open and all the regionals and the nationals for the year. So we see this as a great opportunity to help continue supporting our shooters, to help drive the industry forward and help continue to bring in new shooters. And of course, for us to promote ourselves in the best light possible.
Okay.
That's awesome. Holly, and I'm stumbling upon my words here because we're extremely proud, yet honored and humbled that the Dead Pair is partnered with Fiocchi USA. Can you share with our listeners what it means and what it meant to Fiocchi to have this partnership?
Oh, man, I was unbelievably excited when you guys expressed some interest at Nationals last year. This is definitely an unbelievable podcast. You guys embody a lot of our core beliefs and our devotion to provide quality products, great information. And you do it such an extraordinarily fun and interesting way that most of us don't have the talent to do. So this was an unbelievably amazing sponsorship and partnership that we were very thankful and excited to get to do this year with you guys.
Well, now, Holly, listen, you said the word talent. I don't know about that. We kind of fudge our way through some of this now. Come on now. But, here we go again. I'm going to pick on Chad again. Thanks to his brainstorm, we have talked about a meet and greet and kind of like a hangout with the Dead Pair podcast and some of the people, the participants at the Ohio State Championship. Now, Holly, you mentioned you may or may not be giving out a few items at the Dead Pair tent. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Oh, we will definitely be at the Dead Pair tent. We appreciate the invitation to partner up at the Ohio Sporting Clays Shoot. So we will be there. We have a brand new building that we will have open for the Fiocchi of America. Sorry, now I'm stumbling over my words. And then on Friday and Saturday nights, we're excited to come and hang out with you guys. We'll be giving out some swag, maybe even do some enter to wins for some swag and maybe some shells. So we are excited. It's going to be a good weekend.
That's awesome.
Well, we're really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
that's going to be so much fun, and it's actually generated a lot of buzz on our website, on our Facebook page, and there's just been a lot of conversation about that.
We've even had messages already like asking us to do this. I'm like, hold on, there's an announcement coming.
There's something coming. Yep.
So that was really cool though, just to see people get excited about that. And Sean and I still don't know how to take this sometimes. I mean, we were just down in Florida and visited a couple clubs, and the amount of people that came up to us, I looked at Sean and I'm like, are you kidding me? They really want to talk to us? I mean, if you looked in the mirror, dude, we're not people that people want to talk to. But, it's
especially me.
Yeah. But no, I do love talking to people and I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be fun. So,
yeah, I mean, it's really humbling. I mean, obviously, we do this because it's a labor of love. And, but it is really gratifying. I know at least a half a dozen people came up to us at the Jack Links tournament and specifically said, I am shooting sporting clays because of your guys' podcast. I mean, that is just such a neat kick for us. And that's exactly what we wanted to do when we started this. We want to bring more people into it. So.
Obviously that's our mission, right?
Yeah,
but it's just when people actually come up, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Me sitting in that little room with Sean up in Ohio, and here we are 1,200 miles south, and this guy's telling me I shoot registered tournaments because of you two. And it's like, oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, and here's a funny story, not to digress, but our very first rotation at the Jack Links, we shot with a Jamaican couple, Winston and Tara, that's right.
Yep.
And they figured out who we were, and their eyes lit up, and they said, "We just listened to you guys on the way from Jamaica." And I'm like, here are people from Jamaica shooting sporting clays that came to Florida to shoot the Jack Links Cup, and these guys are listening to us. So it completely blows our mind, the amount of support that we get, and we love all of our fans, and we love talking to everybody that we can. And speaking of that, Holly and Christian, you guys, do you guys ever get the chance to go out and bust some sporting clays, or do you enjoy any other shooting sports since you are part of Fiocchi? I mean, rifle, pistol, anything?
They work us too hard for that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay. No time for fun. Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, all this demand on shot shell. You actually think that we get to have fun anytime?
Well, I mean, it's just a
maybe
question.
Holly does.
No, that's my thoughts too. I was like, that's such a loaded question. Surprisingly enough, when you get in the industry, it feels like you actually have less time to shoot and hang out at the range than what you did before you were in the industry.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Well, if you do find time to get up here to the Ohio State shoot, maybe me and Jason will make it a point to get you out on the course to bust a few clays.
Hey, let's get Holly up on the make or break.
There you go.
We can do that.
There you go.
We'll shoot some make or break with her. Well, Holly,
let's do it. I'll bring my gun.
There you go.
Yeah,
Do it.
I love it. Holly, I know you're a big hunter. Tell us about that.
Oh, man, you're giving me a little too much credit here. So I came into the hunting world a little bit later in life, but I've definitely just fallen in love with it. I've had some leading industry veterans that have helped me along the way and given me some tips, and it's just definitely been a great, fun endeavor. So I'm excited. We're almost back to turkey time. Going to get after some Easterns and some Merriams this year.
Nice.
So
very cool.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So I put it together that the husband, which by the way, if he hears this, and Holly, please relay the message. Thank you very much for his service to our country. That means a lot to us. But I figured he was the one that kind of guided you into it, but no.
No, I actually came into it before we even met.
Oh, okay.
So amazingly enough, Christian is one of the people that helped to bring me in the most. I actually did my first deer hunt with him a number of years ago, and it's just been all downhill from there. And the full plunge in.
Slippery slope, eh, Holly?
Yeah.
Yes, a fun slippery slope, but yes.
So Christian, you're the big hunter then, right?
Yeah, I've been hunting quite a bit. Since I was a young child, I started off, grouse in northern Minnesota. I kind of lived all over the place, but the majority of my upbringing was done in the state of Minnesota. I now reside in the great state of Montana, so I'm not without lacking here. So, whether it be big game or wing shooting, both of them are kind of my favorites. I'm going to leave the turkey hunting to Holly. Unfortunately, I think I've shot enough turkey in my life where I'm good. Enjoy calling them in. And it's also, the great part about hunting, and again, and Holly kind of alluded to it, is just that the ability to bring people into the passion and the pursuit is probably more enjoyable than, again, I complain about the fact that, again, I typically hunt a lot for work, for media events and whatnot, and then my own personal hunting is very limited. So the ability to blend, a work hunt and then have, the opportunity to, go out, shoot a deer with Holly, right, or take somebody else out who hasn't had the opportunity to have those experiences yet are a lot more rewarding nowadays than just kind of as they might have been earlier in my life.
Well, Sean and I joke a lot about, living in the frigid North Midwest up here. But,
it's not Minnesota.
But that's one of the things I can say about Ohio and Michigan is we are still known as the whitetail capital as far as size,
right,
in the world. And if you guys ever want to get into a good deer stand, we might know a few people we can hook you guys up. Mm-hmm. So if you're up here and you're around deer season, come talk to us. Now we'd love to have you. So
that sounds wonderful.
But it's funny because if you look at sporting clays, most people that converted from hunting are bird hunters.
Oh, yeah, a lot of wing shooters and sporting clays. And a lot of them cross-train. They practice with sporting clays to get their aim up for hunting season. So,
right.
We know several people like that.
And then they find us two idiots, and we convert them into tournament shooters.
Then
And then their cases of ammo that they were buying that were 1 or 2 a year went to 100 or 200 a year.
Right.
So,
Again, slippery slope.
a slippery slope. Yeah, it's the dark side. So, Holly, we'll start with you. Are we leaving anything out? Is there anything else you wanted to let our listeners know?
I don't think so. Just thank you for tuning in and supporting Fiocchi. We're excited. We're going to continue to support you guys as long as you have an interest.
Awesome. Christian, is there anything you want to throw out there?
I would say that I would just echo what Holly said. Thank you again for all the support for Fiocchi and for BNP. And for those that they're looking for shells, again, we're still making them. They're still shipping. So just got to be a little diligent about finding them. But we're thinking about you and trying to do everything we can to improve the situation.
Well, from me and Jason both, a big heartfelt thank you to both of you and everybody at Fiocchi USA.
Yes.
Again, we are just beyond ecstatic that you guys have joined with us. I think we're doing great things together and look forward to a long and prosperous relationship with one another.
Well, thank you guys so much. Us as well.
All righty. Well, listen, you guys have a wonderful evening. It's been great catching up, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time somewhere to shoot, or we'll get you back on here and we'll talk about some more stuff.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
All right. We'll see you. Jason, I can't remember another show where we've had more big announcements on it in one time. I mean,
know.
Think about it.
The
partnership with Fiocchi is huge, and then now the partnership with the Elite is just as big.
Absolutely.
And Vero Beach. And I tell you what an awesome group of people we have to work with.
I'm excited.
Heck yeah.
I mean, it's just, okay, listen, I know a lot of listeners are thinking, oh, great, you guys picked up sponsors. No, this means a lot for our listeners.
That's right.
I mean, whether it's going to be giveaways, raffles, I mean, more and more ways that our sponsors can help shooters.
Well, and I think more to the point, it shows the credibility and the faith that they have in what we're doing for the sport to get behind us and represent us, knowing that what we're doing is driving more and more people to shoot sporting clays.
I'm just shocked because they don't understand it. 50% of the Dead Pair podcast is Sean Alley. You didn't expect that, did you?
What? All right, there's too many curveballs already.
Okay,
many curveballs already.
No, I'm sorry. I'm making a joke, but in all seriousness, it's... maybe I overused the word humbling, but seriously, it's
hard
very
to wrap
humbling.
It's hard to wrap your head around. I mean, again, me and Jason started this as a fun thing, as a labor of love, because we love the sport.
Right.
You know what I mean? And if our mission was to help people and to inform people and get more people involved in shooting sporting clays and shooting tournaments.
Yeah.
And the Jack Links tournament was just further proof. How many people came up to us and told us, we're now shooting sporting clays because of you guys. We're now shooting registered tournaments because of you guys. Everything from kids all the way up to 60, 70-year-old people.
And we talked about it when we had Holly and Kristen on the phone. That's always been our mission statement.
Yes.
But to see that come to fruition and people come up to you, it's like, it hits home all of a sudden. It's like, wow, we're actually making an impact on what we said we wanted to do.
It's very gratifying. And I will say that to me means more than anything else. Just knowing that when we started, it was hard to get the information that you really needed to get into the sport. And you, like I said, with Holly, you had to kind of know somebody to get into the sport. Now with the podcast, we've got people from Jamaica, people from Australia, people from Britain, people from Russia, all over the country that listen to us. A couple guys from Ohio.
But you know what the cool thing is now with the addition of Elite and Vero, all of our sponsors are 100% USA.
That is a very cool fact.
How cool is that?
That's a great point, Jason.
How
Rambo.
cool is that?
So everything that we've got under the Dead Pair umbrella, so to speak, is all American made, and go USA.
Yeah, I love it. But okay, so now we have Elite shotguns and Vero Beach, and there's so many ways that both of those can help out our listeners.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to check out their websites and their products. Let's not forget about Bear Pelt.
Oh, yeah. Let's go back and touch on everybody that's been with us since the start.
Yeah, I mean, Bear Pelt, a phenomenal product, a family-owned company, American-made.
Yep.
And how cool is it that you can have your own customized vest for under $200.
Right.
I mean, that's incredible.
Yep.
I mean, when we first started this, we were looking at vests. I mean, yeah, okay, fine. You can go to, Bass Pro Shops or whatever and buy a vest for $150 or whatever it was. But then you got to take it and have it embroidered. It didn't fit exactly right. Not with Bear Pelt.
No.
It's going to fit you like a glove. It's going to be fully customizable. And by the way, speaking of Bear Pelt, welcome to the team, Zach Keenbaum and Desi Edmonds.
That's right. Yeah, that was some big news that we learned at Jack Links as well. And congratulations to those guys and to Bear Pelt, Team Bear Pelt as well, for gaining 2 phenomenal shooters.
Right. So moving on, Atlas Traps.
Yep.
All 100% American made.
Yep. You tout it day in and day out, Jason Rambo.
Oh, I do. And I know a guy that sells those.
Yes, you do.
So if you need to get a hold of somebody.
That's right.
Negrini cases. Now, we understand that the cases are made in Italy, but a lot of the design is feedback from shooters right here in the United States.
Right.
Sea Island cases right here in the United States, they're an American company.
They are.
So, let's please not forget about RE Ranger. Oh my goodness.
No.
I absolutely love my Rangers. When I open that Ranger case and I go to put my glasses on, I let my eyes get acclimated to not only the tint, but the prescription, everything before I shoot. There's something about when I open that case, I get excited.
Yep.
Because number one, I know it's shooting time. Right?
Yep.
And two, I know that I'm putting the best lenses on in front of my eyes that I can possibly put on, and they're made right here in the United States.
I love me some React lenses. I definitely do. And let's not forget about our great friends at Rhino. Those guys are fantastic.
Oh, dude.
I mean, from our chokes to our barrel porting, and they're just overall great guys to hang out with and talk to. I mean, Scott, Matt, the whole crew, we love you guys. Jody, we've had so many laughs and talks with those guys.
Yeah.
They're just great guys.
So that poses a question.
Okay.
You going to send those new Max Light barrels off, get them ported?
Well, you know better than that. Yes, of course I am. So
that's a boy.
Once I get it, I'll reach out to those guys and have to get
go.
that done. So, everything's got to come together with the Kolar. It's going to be a learning experience. It's going to be a growing experience, and hopefully I'll be able to make the transition pretty easily. And the funny thing is, Brian Palmer was telling me from Vero Beach that he did the same thing. He went from a DT11 to a Kolar. He said, so he goes, it's not that big of a move. He goes, it's really not that bad. So hopefully I'll go right into it and start breaking birds like always.
Dude, it's an American-made Kolar. You can close your eyes and pull the trigger and the target's going to bust.
Okay,
The only time I miss is when I leave my eyes open.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Everybody remember that.
Why'd you miss that? Close my eyes.
Yeah.
So, or open them or whatever. How can you possibly have this conversation without including the girls from Mississippi?
Oh, well, come on.
We love a Samoto Pro.
And we've talked to Dr. Grace. They're going to be hopefully getting out into the circuit soon, and you'll be able to meet and greet them personally. We had so many requests from people at the Jack Links. Of course, we were wearing our Oda Pro hats, and they're like, "Where's Dr. Grace? Where's Oda Pro?" And like, well, they're not here, but soon they'll be out there soon.
Right.
There's a lot of people that want to meet those gals, and they do a wonderful job, no doubt.
Did you notice how Dr. Grace covered up her comments?
Covered up her comments
Online, yeah. We had pictures of us. Remember that we took a squad picture at the end of the day, and she's like, "Those hats are hot." And I responded, I'm like, "Come on, it's the guys wearing them."
Yeah,
right?
well, maybe you can go with that. I'm not going to try to push that angle too much. So,
all right. Speaking of American-made products, every single tournament target that we shoot in the United States, that you and I shoot in the United States, is made by White Flyer.
Absolutely.
And then guess what?
Yeah.
They're made right here in the United States.
Made right here in the United States, and what an awesome company. Think about it. You make something for people to break.
Yes, that's just awesome. When your whole business outlook is, I'm going to build something that everybody gets to blow up.
And I'm happy about it.
And
I'm happy.
Cool is that?
You blow up, the more you blow up, the happier we get.
Yes.
So good for those guys at White Flyer.
Right. And an all-American girl herself started a phenomenal business that has helped so many shooters. And, you know, I wish those shooters that she's helped would come out of the closet, if you will, and say, hey, look, it was because of Don Grant that I'm doing better.
Yep.
And it's okay. You know what? They want to be private about it. I get it. That's fine. But the girl deserves way more accolades than she gets. Don Grant does a phenomenal job. If you're having a hard time, if you're an absolute head case like, I don't know, Jason Rambo, give the girl a call, okay? I'm telling you, Don Grant can help you out.
Well, and I think it's a testimony when she was set up down there at the Jack Links. I mean, every time we drove by, there was somebody talking to her. So
Constantly.
So think about it. There's a lot of people that need help.
It's awful funny. It's awful funny because there'd be people there talking to them or talking to her, and then they would look around like, is anybody seeing me?
Yeah, like, I'm admitting I have a problem and I need some help, Don. Please help me.
Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. She's not a psychiatrist, but
what she does for our sport is pretty phenomenal.
Phenomenal. Of course, we have to thank everybody at Woolly Shooting Clinics. You know, John, Nick, thank you very, very much. Awesome. And we're going to continue to work with John Woolley in his shooting instruction moving forward. Can't thank them enough.
No,
I mean,
absolutely. Again,
John's reputation and his results have spoken for themselves.
Yeah, definitely. And again, what I was trying to say is that when you look at the whole package of everybody we work with, all these companies are not only great companies, but they're backed by great people.
Absolutely. Speaking of a great person, what about Casey Chase?
Oh, heck yeah. She's the, as soon as we walked into the registration building, that's the first face we saw.
Right?
Sitting right there like, hey, Casey, what's up? She's like, all right, guys, hold on, look at your forms. And, you know, that without her, I mean, she's doing so much great stuff for this sport, and I just can't wait to see what they keep coming up with.
Well, you know, and if you haven't heard it yet, go back and listen to episode 113, planning shoots. We had Casey on, and she's talking about all the new features of Scorechaser that is coming out this year. It's going to come out in phases, but there's a lot of new stuff coming out that's going to help shooters, coaches, clubs. I mean, she's doing phenomenal work.
Yeah, I mean, it's becoming like an all-in-one package to where, like, if you want to know about anything in this sport, that's where you go.
You go to Scorechaser.
Yep,
right,
definitely,
absolutely. Sean Alley, you know, we preach it, but can we really say it enough? What do we tell everybody every week?
Well, it's very simple. This is a great sport. This is a fun sport, and the only people that don't know how much fun it is are the people that have never done it. So get them out there, get a gun in their hand, let them start breaking some clays, and even better, maybe get them into some registered tournaments if they like to compete, and just show them how much fun this can really be.
That's right. And, you know, I say it every week until next week, but Sean, I got one quick question for you.
Go for it, buddy.
Have you ever in your lifetime done a podcast with anybody as sexy as me? So until next week,
we'll see y'all back here on the Dead Pair Podcast.
We'll see you next time on the Dead Pair Podcast.
The Dead Pair. The Dead Pair Podcast is brought to you by Elite Shotguns and Vero Beach Clay Shooting and is fueled by Fiocchi USA. The Dead Pair theme song was written, arranged, and produced by Toby Tomplay. Special thanks to the following sponsors: Bear Pelt, Negrini, Rhino, Otopro, Dawn Grant, Atlas Trap Company, RE Ranger, and White Flyer Targets.